Well, hi folks. This year I'm going to have a go at growing some giant onions again for the first time in a few years. But when I say giant, I mean I want to try and get some to maybe £5 or so. So I'm not after beating my record of £11 or anything silly like that. But I just thought I'd try something a bit more interesting, so I can make maybe a few videos on something a bit more interesting than the run-of-the-mill stuff. So I've got my grow room set up again. It's just an old room that I knocked up in our sort of cellar. It's very cold, it never gets above 10 degrees. I've got some white stuff on the walls to reflect the light, and the light I'm going to use this time is my little T5 bulb. I think it's, what, how big's that, would you say? 18 inch, 2 foot by about a foot, 4 tube times 24 watts, so it's only 96 watts. So considering how expensive electricity is these days, if I put it on for 12 hours a day, then it's probably going to be what, 1.2 kilowatt hours a day, so about 8 kilowatt hours a week, so maybe £2 or £3 a week. So that's not too bad. I used to use all sorts of bulbs. These are 125 watt ones, but they used to get quite warm. So, but with these ones, they don't give out any heat whatsoever. You can see I can actually touch the bulbs, so that means you can put your plants really close to the bulbs without them getting scorched. So anyway, that's the little setup I've got. So I'll just get on now, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to use to mix my sowing compost with, and then we'll get on and I'll show you how I'm going to sow my seeds, which are direct from Peter Glazebrook, arguably the world's most famous giant onion grower. So I'll get on, I'll just get it all set up, and I'll just show you how I'm going to mix this, and then we'll get them sowed. Right then folks, what I'm going to use to mix the seed compost up, it's nothing spectacular really. I've just got some Jack's Magic compost from last year, unopened. It's very fine compost, and some vermiculite, which was very rough, but I've blended it up really fine in a food processor. And I'm just going to mix this 2 parts compost to 1 part vermiculite, just to give it a bit of aeration really, make it nice and fine. It doesn't really matter about there being particularly any nutrients in this, because with it being just a seedling, just basically it's only going to be germinated in this. And then what I'll probably do is just prick these out into pots once they've germinated, once they're about 1 inch tall. So like I said, they're not going to be growing in this particularly if it is a bit sparse in nutrients. So that looks all right. It might be a bit dark in here because I don't think GoPros are particularly good in poor light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sow about 12 in a single pot and prick each one out individually once they've germinated, and then I'm going to sow some singly in modules and leave those to grow on. So like I said, I don't know what would be the best idea, but I'm just going to try both methods, see how we get on. I don't think I've mixed quite enough compost. Let's see. Just mix a little bit, or a little bit more. I'll just mix this last bit. This dusty stuff, this vermiculite. So yeah, like I said, I'm very late to sow these. A lot of people who grow the really giant onions will be sowing them away, I mean, as early as late October or even, you know, November time. So I'm 3 months behind. But like I said, I'm not after growing a giant one this year. I just want to grow one to maybe £5, something like that, hopefully. And then just plant some outside in pots as well, in the polytunnel pots, and just grow some outside in the soil too. So that's those done. So I'm going to grow two of these pots with them in that I can prick out later, and then the rest in this module. So I'll just get my speed and we'll get on and get it done. So here we have the famous seed, direct from Peter Glazebrook himself. So I'm not going to get any better seed than that. I think he said there was 50. So, like I said, I'm just going to put one in each of these, and then I'll put the rest, split the rest into the pots. Now the ideal time to prick onions out it's what they call the crook stage. It's when the little seedling, it sort of emerges bent with the tip of the shoot still stuck into the soil, and then once that straightens up into just the shape of a shepherd's crook, is when you want to plant them out, apparently. So they don't want to have grown such a great deal of root, so you're disturbing anything, but they want to be big enough so they've got a little bit of root, and then you just repot those into maybe 3-inch pots. So I'll just riddle a little bit of compost over the top of these, not a great deal. They don't need to be deeply covered. And then what I'll do with these, I'll put them in a little bit of warmth. When I say a little bit of warmth, maybe 60 degrees, 65 degrees. And hopefully we should get a bit of germination. So that's about it for now. Like I said, as soon as they start to germinate, I'll put them under the lights. I'll germinate them somewhere else at first with a little bit of warmth, but as soon as they start to germinate, I'll put them under these lights. I'll put the lights on for 12 hours a day, and then we'll see how they progress. But anyway, that's about it, folks. First little bit of giant onion growing bits for the season, and we'll see how we get on. I'll see you later.